I'm going to be up at the podium soon anyway,
Okay.
so it's all yours. Welcome in.
I mean, after we are
Yeah, I know, I'm trying to run it today. But I know that some people are not dropping it off until when they're
Surely we won't fill this table. I'm glad everyone's engaged and making it all down.
I'll get it.
looks like.
They have, yeah, the end of February. Yeah, they haven't made that change, and this should eventually done. Is she doing anything after that? Finish up for a while. Hopefully, finish healing. Well, there's still no surgery. No surgery now, we go back in May, but hopefully doing surgery. She's not resolution trials, but she's working.
Alright, we will go ahead and get started. We're running late. I am printing off new copies of all of the sample bylaws that we're working through. We'll dispense with introductions. There's a bid opening here at 1, so I would like to wrap up at 12:50. Possibly just give room or time to flip the room for the bid opening at 1. Before we move into our business, I'm going to move item 3 up to item number 2. Flip-flop those. For a brief discussion about a potential pedestrian crosswalk at Main and First. So while I'm putting all the bylaws together again, I'm going to turn it over to our city administrator, Craig, and just leave a very brief discussion on this item, and I'll be back after that.
All right, I feel like I'm running out from behind the curtain at one of those award shows on the TV. I'm going to take this. See how this works. They told me they were going to have this ready, so here we go. All right, so a couple of council meetings ago, one of our young leaders in our community, Miss Melody Ellis, who we have the pleasure of joining us for lunch today, shared with our city council her concerns and that of others in the community of the lack of crossing on Main Street, kind of in this area where we have First. And I think that you could probably pick a different area on Main Street too, but I think many would agree that maybe this is where we would need it the most at this time. So I wanted to give you guys a street level view first. By the way, we only have 10 minutes for this conversation. If we need to carry it over to the next meeting, we will. We are on a time crunch. So I wanted to give you this perspective first so you can understand kind of the reality of the situation. It's not so simple just so we can put pavement markings on the ground and call it good. This concrete on both sides of the street, you have a stand-up curb there, and so there's no ramp. So if you just put pavement markings, you're landing someone into a curb. That's illegal and also just not really conducive to those not only who are walking, but maybe who are in wheelchairs or something to that nature, or even just more immobile than the rest of us. So that's an issue. The other issue obviously is we have all these parking spaces here. So if you were a 7-foot tall person, you probably still wouldn't be able to be seen behind this SUV or over here if you were waiting to cross the street. So that's a challenge. I'm throwing out all the problems first. I like to think I'm solutions oriented, so don't worry, those are coming. And then the reason we're putting this to the events committee and Melody is to, the Main Street Committee and Melody is to see if you guys have some solutions that maybe we're not thinking of to help address this. So those are the two biggest issues. This concrete on either side, it's not in the best shape either, and so probably wouldn't just be constructing ramps. We'd probably have to spend some capital on putting fresh concrete in as well. One of the other areas that could be a challenge, I don't know if you know this, but people who do business on Main Street are very possessive over the public parking in front of their businesses. For good reason. I say that tongue in cheek. I understand why it's valuable and important to them. But looking at this crossing, I think it would be assumed that we would lose at least this space at a minimum and this space at a minimum. I've done a lot of urban planning work in my professional career. I have different opinions on parking than the small business owner. I still think that there are many places patrons of these businesses or other entities could park to get to their storefronts, even if we lost 2 spaces. You have all the parallel parking up and down on the east and west side here on First, and of course there's plenty of parking still remaining, so maybe less of an issue. So, those are some of the problems and challenges with, the crossing. One of the elements that we would want to put out there if we create a crossing would be one of these pedestrian islands. The reason we do that is because not always are drivers being very diligent, and especially if the pedestrian is in a wider perspective of their peripheral vision, they may be less likely to see them as they're crossing. And so this island creates an opportunity that if a pedestrian safely traverses one lane, they can hang out here just to make sure that if there is a car coming, that the car stops. I don't know how many times I'm crossing Main Street at the linear trail, and I'm kind of brave. I'll go like this and point up to the sign sometimes, and they still will go by me. I don't suggest that everyone does that. I'm just maybe a little, I don't know the right word. Here is,
That's all the words.
I was going to say persnickety, but maybe that's not the right one.
We're all trying.
So, to solve the issue of the pedestrian kind of being hidden behind these cars as they're looking to cross, we'll see communities do what are called bulb outs. I've also heard them called turnouts. They're basically these landscape areas that push the starting point of the pedestrian closer out to the middle of the road. So this is in the community I served prior, Sterling, Kansas. You can see the walkway here, but basically you are creating this little turnout here. It comes out into the road, concrete curb right there, and so you have these, you're pushing the pedestrian further out into the main area of a person's perspective when they're driving and further away from their peripheral vision. Obviously, you see there's lots of nice landscaping and stuff like that, and then too, these are lighted bollards. One of the other ways to calm traffic is to do landscaping and beautification. People will naturally drive slower if you have traffic calming elements like trees, flowers, the turnouts, some of these decorative benches and trash cans. You see these decorative lampposts and the banner arms. All of this stuff serves to organically slow down traffic, so too does the narrowing of the driving lanes. So, all that's to say, yes, shade is good too.
For the pedestrian.
Yes, absolutely. It's funny, when I used to walk down here, if you're on this side, you're burning hot. When you're on this side, it's cold because you're in the shade. So, at any rate, our public works staff are putting together some quotes to put in these turnouts and to put in a pedestrian island refuge. This is not going to be something that's cheap, I'll say affordable enough to where we're probably going to be able to do it this year. Sometimes we can find some money left over to do, projects that are only going to be a few $1,000s, but because the road is so wide and we have these physical challenges, we really need to kind of invest a little bit more to make it work. So we're talking probably your 10 to 20,000 plus range when you talk about the material and the labor and everything like that. So with that, I'll turn it over to you guys for about 5 minutes of discussion. Like I said, we can carry this over to the next meeting. I would also add that we do have a preliminary streetscape design that addresses some of these issues with turnouts and bulb outs at every intersection. Discuss, please.
None of those images represent the crossing traffic that's already right there. Those are in the middle of a straight through road. What about the crossing traffic? Cause you're on Main Street and it's connected, the crossing traffic is First Street.
You mean this
Both
traffic?
those, both those pictures don't have a crossing road.
They have a
They're
crosswalk
straight.
though.
There,
Yes,
there's
but-
already a painted crosswalk across both of these, so right here and right here, there is a crosswalk.
So that go down to the
way?
island.
I guess there maybe is not I thought we painted one, this might be an old picture, I'll have to go double check, we usually repaint those every couple of years.
Where is the island gonna go in?
In the
In
grand
the
scheme of
middle.
this, so the island would go right here.
Okay,
Yep, so when you're crossing, you would cross through here, and there'd be like a semicircle there, a little gap for the pedestrian, and then a semicircle here.
okay.
So it won't be like a four-way circle, it will be like a little bit further in.
It'll definitely stop people from going around turning vehicles, cause I see that a lot when I drop off my kids in the morning to Discovery. Cause they don't wanna slow down or stop for somebody that's turning beyond,
Yeah.
another direction.
It'll slow traffic way down at that point too, because of this, because the bump outs, right now, the Main Street curves down. But like on First Street, it's straight across, there's no curves from one point to the other. And I do think there is a crosswalk, isn't there a crosswalk?
I think so too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there is.
So those are marked already clearly, so that's the reason we would have to do those bump outs, because the road goes down and the bump out would create that, and this would way slow down
I
traffic.
do love the bump outs.
Yeah, it would
They
be,
kinda will create that like, perfect placement for arches later.
yeah, I agree. So, and just in
Just
Sterling,
thinking ahead.
we had those at every crossing.
What's the timeline on the streetscape versus, like, if this isn't a project that could be accomplished until next year, what's our timeline on the streetscape overall?
Yeah, that's a contemplation too, you don't wanna throw, bad money ahead of good, so to speak. Cause we are looking at in excess of $1 million investment downtown to replace all of the walkways, between the buildings on Main Street, do turnouts and crossings at every intersection, along with all the plantings and all that sort of thing. So the council will have to ask themselves, do we wanna spend I'm just ballpark here, $20,000 to $30,000 on this, knowing that probably in 2 years, 2 years or so, we will be investing $1 to $2 million on doing everything downtown from a bike and pedestrian standpoint. That'll be a decision that they have to make. So.
No pressure.
I have a question. For projects like this, could there be like community donations, like where people could say, we donate our labor, we can, all of the community come in and instead of hiring people, we can all come and do like the digging to put in the trees and like somebody says, I'll buy the tree and
Yeah.
like things like that. Can
Yeah.
that be
Absolutely.
something the community can do, or is that like not allowed because of red tape for the?
So the construction we would not have volunteers do, but in Sterling, every year we have Love Sterling, and we would clean up these landscaped areas. So there's mulch and annuals planted in there. There's a irrigation system and stuff. So volunteers from the community and the college students, we would go in and clean all those out as a community project. So the city would typically buy all the material, the bags of mulch and the flowers and all that sort of a thing, and provide the shovels and wheelbarrows and whatever else is needed, and then the volunteers would help maintenance those. Now, we wouldn't want to solicit volunteers to do concrete or operate machinery or those kinds of things.
Unless those businesses want to do a tax write-off and would say.
We don't typically do that because our insurance wouldn't like
Okay,
that so much.
that's what I was asking, like, are those, okay.
Yep. Did you have
So
anything
there
you
are
wanted to
limitations.
add to our conversation?
Could this be something that Neighbors United?
It's a great idea. Yeah, so I've kind of thought about that when we do the downtown streetscape project. I think it would be a fantastic project for Neighbors United to go in and do the plantings and help maintain those bulb outs, make them real pretty.
Well, I wanna say thank you to Melody for bringing it to the attention, because I know for the library's sake, we have a lot of kids that come over, and, you know, we always are concerned of safety of them getting into the library safely. And Main Street traffic, people do speed down there, fortunately, and they pass each other. I mean, we see it all the time, we're always yelling, slow down! So I think I'm glad that you advocated for all the people in Clara and all the little ones too, so. I'm all for it, just because I think it will help, just the library with the kids coming over and just slowing that traffic down. I think it'll give some definition to that street as well that's needed, so.
Even the kids getting down to Mrs. Cole's for their snow cones.
Yes, and I mean, especially like summertime when there's a lot of movement,
In the pool.
there's a lot going on, there's always that concern of kids just kinda out and about, and, you know, obviously at 3 o'clock, if you're out on Main Street at that time, it's just a scary time. If I've ever had to leave, I'm always like, oh, it's 3 o'clock, you have to wait a few minutes, cause there's the buses and there's a lot of things, a lot of transactions and things going on, and so, you know, I know we're always concerned about kids getting in and out of the building safely and getting home safely too, or wherever they need to go, so thank you, Melody.
I also think it can be beneficial for the Main Street markets too. There's a lot of people that come down. If we would do landscaping with shading and all of that on Main Street, it would be a nice addition to that. It's just we have to figure out what the best way to go about it is. I guess my thing is, how far out is the full Main Street thing? Because I mean, we see the immediate need right now, and it's been an immediate need for 10 years, if we're being honest. So,
Would this be the design normally, you think, for every intersection?
So we have 2 concepts that we've looked at thus far, and they all include turnouts at each intersection. It's pretty common practice.
which I also think would be nice, especially like where you are, the post office and the eye doctor. I think that's kind of the beginning of our Main Street.
Well, I think that's where there's more that goes into it, because the road narrows there. I think widening the road, at least for that next block, because that's the only thing I worry about with doing both designs. Like, I understand the road is wide, but is that like too narrow by the time you do the bump outs and the stop in the middle?
We actually, from an urban planning and engineering perspective, we actually want it as narrow as possible, with consideration of school buses and then 18-wheelers that'll be visiting Strood, of course. So there'll be some one-off design modifications to account for those things. So we'll have to partner with the school district and Strood to make sure that whatever design we put in doesn't mitigate their ability to do business. But the reason we want them as narrow as possible is because it definitely slows down traffic, and there's a ton of research out there that shows the slower traffic is going, the more likely people are to stop and do business in that area. So, and stay in the area longer.
Delano is a good example of that. That's a narrow.
It is.
That's narrow, but you drive a lot slower, and they have a lot of bump outs there. They have the parking like we have too.
Yep,
So.
great example. For the sake of time, I want to hand it back over to Ryan. There'll be a lot of similar conversations to this as Main Street continues to evolve into the high functioning organization that we all know it will. So this is a great sampling of what's to come with this group. Melody, thank you again for what you're doing in our community, for your leadership, and we really appreciate you bringing this concern to us.
Thank you.
Alright, I'm gonna send this one this way, this one this way. These are the bylaws that we were looking at last month. And I would ask, if you can, next month, remember to bring those with you. Our printing budget would greatly appreciate it.
You're gonna have to sign that. You're gonna write your name on this? Write your name on this?
Just put it in Put it in your folder. Awesome, thank you.
That's why I was ready, I was like, where is it?
Oh, no worries, you're fine, you're fine.
I was right on time.
Okay, so in our remaining 45 minutes, we will pick up where we left off last month. As you know, we're working through our, putting together our bylaws. So Dan, if you can scroll down, or actually go to the other document. Perfect. So last month we determined the makeup or composition of our board. So we'll have up to 14 people serving on the board of directors. Now scroll down. And then we had started working on terms and term limits. So we had decided that we wanted 3-year terms with positions. Maybe scroll up a little bit so you can see both. So positions 1 through 5, that those be able to serve unlimited terms, of course, just due to the nature of those board representatives representing the community. And then 6 through 13 would be limited to 2 consecutive terms. And then where we are going to pick up now is how we want to do initial staggered terms. Whenever you're creating a board, you don't want to have everyone on the exact same terms going on and off the board. You do want those to be staggered. So next, just want to go through and open it up for discussion on how you would want these 13, 14 positions to be staggered initially. So I've seen in some cases where some serve 1, some are serving 2, some are serving 3, and then once you're done with your initial term, if you would like to serve again, then you switch to a standard 3. So just open it up for discussion.
Maybe the citizens do like 1 year, cause
Okay.
the possibility, some may move in and then move out. So a year for them wouldn't be too far off, and then
Too high of a commitment, if they.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Gives them a taste of what it could be like, and then if they want to serve a standard 3-year term, they can do so after their 1 year. So, Danny, can you, beneath where it says, well, I don't want to make that too busy. Underneath initial staggered terms, can you put positions 1 through 14? Just do 1 and then 2. Beneath it, yeah, there you go. Perfect. And we'll just go through and divvy them up. I think 1, 2, and 3 make sense. It's just a matter of determining who you want, which position is going to have that initial term or term timeline. Okay, so maybe make it a little smaller so we can see. Zoom out a little bit. It's on the far right. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Okay, so 11 through 13, we're thinking 1 year initial. I think that sounds fine. That's fine, yeah, that's fine.
There we go. Can't move my mouse if I can.
Okay. All right.
You go ahead, go on. I'm signaling.
But I said
Actually,
this year,
I don't think 14
just
was
11
discussed yet.
Just 1 through 13?
Yeah.
Let me make it just a little smaller so we can see at the top. Sorry. There. Yeah. Okay, we'll just start at the top and work our way down. So, Chamber of Commerce. So Cresta, I think you had missed last month's meeting, but we discussed that we would want to have someone from that represents the Chamber Board, or the Chamber in general, being a member of this board. And so the Chamber of Commerce, what we would ask them is to, during one of their board meetings, appoint someone to serve on this board. It doesn't have to be a board member, but just someone that is an active member of the chamber. What are your thoughts on an initial term amount?
I would probably suggest 2 years, but I would have to, of course, get my board approval and all that.
So the only thing we would be asking the chamber board to approve would be the representative,
Mhm.
not the
Okay.
term limit, yeah. And they,
Yeah,
you know,
that-
you would just take it to them and say, okay, we have an opening for 2 years or 3 years, whatever the case may be. Need you to select someone and then give that name, you know, to us so that we can invite them to the meetings. So,
And that could be you every time.
I would suggest 2 years.
okay, let's do 2 for that one, okay? If everyone's okay with that, everyone good with that, 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay, next is city council, so, this person would be a representative of city council where, during one of the council meetings, the 5 council members just vote amongst themselves as to who would be the representative on the board.
What is the city council term?
4 years.
Do you think city council member Hall?
I think 2 years is probably
Two? Okay.
a fair thing, like, because we vote on the mayor and the vice mayor every 2 years, so.
Okay.
And then every year we determine who of us will go to the letter meetings
Yeah.
through the year. So I think 2 years is a fair,
Okay.
reasonable time.
Keep in mind, you wanna keep these as balanced as possible between the 1, 2, and 3. So I mean, yeah, it might be off a little bit, but, we just wanna try to keep it balanced. That way, all of the board, you're not constantly having the board transition at the end of every year.
So what if you do for, you talk about like 1 through 5 being unlimited terms, what?
That
1
means that
through
they can
5
continue to serve.
Sure, but what
yeah.
if those are all starting on a 2-year term and then all the business owners on a 3-year term? So blanketed, I mean, it makes it pretty simple, that citizens are 1 year, city representatives start out on a 2-year term, and the business owners start out on a 3-year term. And then that, like, I don't know if you want some of your business owners to be in and out at different times, that'd be the only downside with that. Is that they would potentially, but I think that would end up evening out over time.
Should we flip flop that and put the 1 through 5 as a
As a
3-year?
three.
And then the business owner and property owners is 2, because
Mhm.
again, the commitment level.
Yeah,
Yeah, either way, but yeah, I just think
I kinda like
like
that,
grouping
yeah.
Are you okay with that?
I mean, if I'm the one sitting here, then no, I'm okay with that. But if our board, I mean, it depends on who our board appoints to this.
Well,
So-
the terms are 3-year terms, this is just
Yeah.
the initial start.
If it's me sitting here, I'm okay with it, but if it's a board member, I don't know, I can't answer for them.
you always ask them to nominate you.
Alright, so business people, business property.
So 3, 4, and 5 would all have 3.
You good with that, Carrie?
Yeah, I mean, once, if my 3-year, I'm still here, then I just stay on as,
Right.
yeah. I mean, unless, there's, I'm not bothered.
And then
That's
6 through 10 would be 2.
I hope is that you're still here.
Yeah, but we could get an assistant director, we could have some staff changing where I'd have somebody that I say, I served on it for 3 years. And it'd be nice to have a different perspective of somebody else after 3 years if I felt like I had somebody that could come on it. I don't have an issue of that, cause that's always a possibility to say. I'm not sure, wouldn't do a board member cause they already have, but I would say if there was another staff person that I felt that could come on, that I thought that would benefit, there's always that possibility too, so.
Do we need to change library director to library representative, or I know we had the discussion last month, but for long term, do we need to change that, or do you think it's okay just being left as is?
We can leave it there.
Okay.
You can put representative.
Could you do director slash
Representative,
representative?
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. And then
Yeah,
that,
let's do that. Yeah.
that, cause
Library, one more down.
yeah. Just like if I.
Space.
Yeah.
Hit the space bar. Okay, now go one down.
Yeah, just in case there is a vacancy with your library director, then you can still have somebody that's able to represent that.
Would we want to do that for the senior center too then? Cause that was kind of the discussion last time.
Well, the representative is.
Yeah,
fine.
it's
That's fine.
representative
That's fine.
there.
Cause the director's not gonna come in here. Amanda said she would prefer that to be a representative.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, perfect. Let's scroll down. The city staff representative, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Might as well put that as a 3-year. Okay, excellent. Next section where we'll work on is powers of the board. The reason I put this in here is because in the 2 examples, one of them includes it and one of them doesn't. So Main Street Valley Center does not delineate the exact powers of the board, but Emporia does. That can be found on the back of page 2, where the top it says directors, and then in section 1, it lists 6 specific powers. So if you will, just take a couple minutes. We don't have, again, these are just 2 examples of what other Main Street organizations do in the state of Kansas. You don't have to include them, but if you wanted to delineate what those specific powers of the board are, you do have an example from Emporia. But again, if you look at Valley Centers, it does not state the exact powers of the board. So take a couple minutes to review that, and then that'll be our next point of discussion.
Section 9?
You said section 9?
On the back of, so
Article
for
3,
Emporia,
section 1.
on the back of page 2, it says directors, and then section 1.
It's page 4, technically.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
1, 2, back of page 2.
Paper, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that's just how I'm doing it, but yes,
Ah, okay.
technically page 4 of text, yes.
Yeah,
But it's directors, section 1, and then it lists
yeah.
6 specific powers.
Whether we
of the
do this or
board.
not, making it easier to read would be the first.
Yeah, they can definitely work on formatting. Definitely work on
And I
formatting.
forgot my reader, so I'm like.
Do you want me to read it out loud too? You want to hold it over here? Can you read it out loud?
It's not very here.
I don't like Emporia's format at all. But
It's
again,
terrible. Like, I don't want to read
they
it.
are. I will tell you, they have received their Main Street organization has received national awards. They are a well-oiled machine and
Yeah.
one of the best Main Street organizations in the state. So they are a great example to look for. Now, of course, yeah, we can change formatting, but they are a powerhouse in the Main Street world.
Do they have attorneys in their?
They have a staff of 4. They have a director, someone in communications. They have a fab lab, so they have someone that runs their fabrication lab, and then someone else, and maybe even an intern. So 4 or 5 on staff.
Is there an attorney present in these things that drafts these things? Because it looks like they like to write contracts. And
So yeah, I'm sure the board has legal counsel for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know why Valley Center chose not to put that in? Just didn't think it was.
So when we were going through, again, we were looking at other sample bylaws. Main Street took a lot of what you see here from Sterling. It just was not something that they were concerned about when they formed back in 2016. So, yeah, they decided not to include a section on powers of the board.
Well, I'd rather put it in than have to wait for something to happen than have to redo it, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, that's my thought, is that, I mean, if it's something that's suggested, then I think that to have at least something there. Otherwise you go down the road and then,
Yeah.
then you have to, then something happens. I always feel like to be overly prepared for.
How do you feel about the 6 prescribed or listed powers that Emporia has? So their first is to alter, amend, or repeal bylaws. That makes sense.
I like that.
The second is to select and remove other agents or employees of the corporation, etc. Third, to conduct, manage, and control the affairs. Fourth, to change the principal office, registered officer to transact in business. Fifth is to borrow money and incur indebtedness for the purpose of the corporation, and sixth is to appoint executive committees, standing committees, and other committees, or to delegate committees with powers and authority, etc. So, I mean, if you want, we can just take what they have in this section and apply it in ours, if that's what the group wants, or if you feel like some of this needs to be amended, or if something needs to be added beyond these 6 powers.
I mean, most of it looks pretty good, other than, you know, there may be a few things that don't apply to what we
Okay.
have, and just, you know, going through and getting rid of the things that apply and adding things that, or that don't apply, and then things that do apply to what we have. I mean, but if most of that applies, then it's well worded and everything's laid out nicely, so.
Okay. So, do you just want to, again, what we'll do is, once we've gone through all of these sections, I'm going to put together a fresh document that'll be for us, and then we can do one final review as a committee. The committee will vote to approve it, and then we'll probably get our legal counsel involved at this point, just to have them do a quick review as well. We do need to solicit an accountant to file this with the state, so for our 501c3 status, so keep that in the back of your mind as well. So there will be a few levels of external review after you as a steering committee have gone through your review. But for now, Danny, if you put a note in there, just say copy Emporia section 1. I'll know what that means.
So I'm sure lawyers wrote most of that.
Yeah.
Probably,
Looking
yes.
at it, I mean, all, because it's a CYA thing on most of that, it looks like, so, but if there's any way we can condense it, I mean, because they, you know, the lawyers like to get wordy and again, CYA everything, so.
But there's a reason for
True.
the CYA.
There is, but if we could condense this down, I mean, if you're gonna have a lawyer look at it anyways and see if they can just, if they can narrow the scope of that a little bit, then that'd be good. If not, you know.
I think that would help, especially in the formatting too,
Yeah,
so that we could,
absolutely.
because otherwise we're reading this and.
Yeah.
We get lost, I get lost by a third.
You get lost
I'm like,
really quick.
okay.
I'll make a note to see if there's a way to pare that down or condense it.
Yeah.
Next.
My question was,
Yes.
are they gonna be paid positions? Cause on the second one, it says fix their compensation.
So, again, the example of Emporia, yes, they do have paid staff.
But in ours, it's not, right?
At this point, you are a volunteer board, and Danny will serve as the executive director. But at this point, we're not looking at hiring any other staff specifically for Main Street purposes. No.
I do have a typo, believe it or not.
Okay.
I know, I found it.
All right. Where is it?
After fixed compensation, it should say and require from them.
Right, the third, the last sentence before the third one.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry,
Oh, yeah.
no, it's good.
we use a former.
Okay. Nope, sounds good. Okay, moving on, so board officers and terms. So this is pretty standard, but again, this just allows everyone an opportunity to share. If you look under Valley Centers, it's under Article 5, the duties of officer. It lists, they have 4 officers. Same thing with Emporia, president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. So in Valley Center, they serve 1-year terms, and I believe it's the same for Emporia as well. It's Article 10 in Emporia.
Okay.
Again, the descriptions are a lot more succinct, I would say, in Main Street, or Valley Center's example, as opposed to Emporia. Emporia is pretty lengthy on going through all of the different roles. Now, if you want it to be, if you want it to include, be more like Emporia's, that's fine. Again, open it up for discussion on the board officers and terms.
decide like president, vice president, secretary, treasurer.
So what we're, I just wanna make sure that everyone's fine with the standard 4 officers and their responsibilities.
Yes.
Does anyone have a preference as to if we're using this as a template, which one we pull from?
Valley Center is a whole heck of a lot easier to read.
It is, yes.
Clean, clear cut, tells you exactly, whereas Emporia, you get lost in the words and you get done reading it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Danny, why don't you say, copy Valley Center Article 5. Perfect. And then both of these state that when there are vacancies from an officer that that vacancy is just filled in by a vote of the other board members. Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, Danny, if you could just say vacancies filled by majority vote of the board.
So Emporia runs their board as a corporation?
They use that word corporation because they are a 501c6, which is a little different than a C3. We definitely want to go the C3 route. The general intent is the same. It's just that with, and I'm no accountant or an attorney, there are just some legal differences between a C3 and a C6. But a C3 will allow us to apply for more grants and to accept grant funding a little easier than a C6 does. Is the chamber a C6?
Yep.
There you go. Okay, oh, sorry, Danny, no, that goes with, the filled by majority vote of the board goes above. Yeah. Perfect. So this next section, so this is filling officer vacancies, the next section is filling vacancies on the board. There are a couple of ways to do this. I'll let you read through the examples to see if there's a particular model that you like, and let me see if I can, sorry if I can find that. It is under directors, section 4, vacancies for Emporia. So that would be page, the top of page 5. Yeah. And then in Valley Center, this is Article 3, Section 2.
Perhaps add page numbers next time for the longer ones,
Yeah,
so
really.
we can follow your page numbers versus our own page numbers. Some of us consider the back page 2.
I know. Yeah, I don't know why Emporia didn't put page numbers on there. Valley Center has page numbers at the bottom. Yeah, so it'd be on page 3 for Valley Center, page 3, section 2. Anyone have a preference? So go with section 2 from Valley Center. We're filling a vacancy on the board. Okay. Dan, if you can write Valley Center section 2, filling board vacancy.
I can see where there's such a well-oiled machine that's very specific.
Yeah. Yes. Perfect.
No matter who comes and goes, they know exactly who.
Yep. Okay, so there are 2 more areas we're going to work on. Like I said, we do have a bid opening at 1, so I'd like to go ahead and wrap it up. So if you can go ahead and look at the membership set for next month's meeting. Our next month's meeting will be on March 9th, which happens to be my birthday. But we'll work on membership and then the listed purposes of the organization. So again, take these and keep them somewhere safe where you can bring them next month. But we'll work on those 2 topics in March. And then again, once we've finished going through all of the different sections, I'm going to put together a clean copy of what will be Goddard Main Street bylaws. We'll go through those. And then once you all have come to a consensus on those, we'll have our legal counsel take a look at them, as well as someone in the accounting world, so that we can file these with the state to become an official 501c3. And then at that point, elect our officially appoint our board, and then our board officers. So we're making progress. Thank you so much. And if there are any other topics like we had today, where we were talking about the crosswalk, if there are other topics you'd like to discuss, obviously we're working on a lot of formation at this point in terms of the organization. But if there are other topics you'd like to discuss, we can discuss those. Just let me know. That way I can tack those onto the agenda. But I do know I did want to also give a couple minutes to Danny to talk about upcoming Main Street Market events, to see if they're just to share that, since it is a downtown event. So Danny, if you want to share some upcoming dates and any kind of update on. Sorry, I'm putting her on the spot, but she's already had a couple meetings with her committee, from the Main Street Market Committee. But just wanted to make sure to give her a couple minutes here at the end for her to talk about the upcoming Main Street Markets.
Yeah, our upcoming Main Street Markets, goodness, are April 12th, May 10th, June, I'm gonna cheat. I've got the first 2, because those are what I'm worried about right now. June 14th, right? Yes, June 14th, Friday. And then our last one is September 14th. 13th, sorry, 13th. Been bouncing between last year and this year, and so, and they're a day apart from each other, so whenever you're bouncing from one year to the next. Do you, any of you need those dates again? Okay, alright, yeah, we're so far already up to 30 vendors for the first market. We've still got about a month and a half, give or take 2 months. It's not till April, so we've got time until the first one. So it's exciting how they're growing. And if you guys want to participate, just reach out, shoot me an email, let me know what your business wants to do that day. If you want to do something special, or if you.
I think the Friends is gonna do their book sale again, but we'll confirm that 1st of March, but they'll probably do their book sale inside the library. So, but I'll meet with them in March, but I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to do, but.
Yeah, these are our first events of the year downtown.
Yeah.
Yep, exciting. All right, very good. Well, thank you again so much. We do appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to participate in the committee, to come to these meetings and provide us with your feedback as we're putting together this organization. This is something that we're going to be really proud of, and appreciate everyone, the great cross-section of community members that we have coming to these. So again, thank you for your time, and we'll see you next month, if not sooner.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
With the help.
Probably not, but that's all right. Did everyone sign in?
They're down Thursday.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Because she hasn't seen her birthday week. Because Liz like, will you go up, you can stay up here, or you can downstairs. And Leah's like, she's staying up here. And Liz is like, well, okay, Leah. She's like, we haven't seen her. So Jordan was like, well, I didn't really have